The day after my daughter's wedding, the restaurant manager called me. "Come here now. I have something you need to see. Don't tell anyone." I didn't understand what was happening, but something pushed me to go. When I met him, he looked me in the eye and said, "Mr. Foster, I'm sorry, but you need to see this." What he showed me made my jaw drop. My hands started shaking. My chest went tight. Everything I thought I knew about my daughter's marriage gone. Just like that. Before I tell you what happened next, I'm grateful you're here. Please tell me, where are you watching from and what time is it? The phone call came on a Sunday morning one day after I walked my daughter down the aisle. The restaurant manager's voice was tight. "Mr. Foster, you need to see this. Come alone." I was finishing my bus route when my cell buzzed. Unknown number. I pulled over, put the bus in park, and answered. "Mr. Foster, this is Edward Lynch from the Garden Court restaurant." His voice was strained. "We were reviewing security footage from the wedding. There's something about your son-in-law and one of the bridesmaids. You need to see it. Can you come now, and please don't tell Lauren yet." My hands started shaking. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, I stood in Mr. Lynch's office. He looked pale, uncomfortable. A laptop sat on his desk, video paused on screen. Black and white security footage. The storage room. "This is from last night," he said. 9:43 p.m. He hit play. The door opened. Melissa Drake walked in tall, blonde, red dress. Lauren's bridesmaid. Then Justin followed. My son-in-law, married to my daughter less than 24 hours. They looked at each other. Then Melissa stepped forward and kissed him. Not a peck. A real kiss. Deep. His arms around her waist, her fingers in his hair. I couldn't breathe. Mr. Lynch turned up the volume. "I thought I wasn't going to make it," Melissa said. "Watching you dance with her all night, play the perfect husband. My nerves were shot." "Just hang in there," Justin said. "Everything's going according to plan." "According to plan?" Melissa's voice rose. "How much longer do we play this comedy? When are you divorcing her?" My stomach dropped. "Don't rush it," Justin said calmly. "First she signs the condo over to me, both names on the deed. Then we wait 3-4 months. File for divorce. The condo stays mine. We sell it, split the cash. $285,000, no mortgage." "What if she doesn't sign?" Justin laughed. "She will. I've already started working on her, telling her we should put everything in both names for equality. She thinks it's romantic." He shook his head. "She thinks this is about love." "Easier than you thought, wasn't it?" Melissa said. "Tricking a nurse. She was lonely. No boyfriend. Works for Peanuts Lives in her dead grandma's condo. I come along attentive, handsome, saying the right things. She fell right into my hands." They kissed again. The video ended. Silence. I stood there frozen. My daughter's face flashed in my mind yesterday in her white dress, whispering, "I'm so happy, Dad." It was all a lie. Mr. Foster Lynch held out a flash drive. "I put the full video on this. 7 minutes total. If this were my daughter, I'd want to know." I took it. My hand was shaking. "What are you going to do?" he asked. I didn't answer. I walked out to my truck and sat there in the parking lot. For 30 years I'd driven a bus, kept my head down, stayed out of trouble. I wasn't a fighter. But that man had married my daughter for her grandmother's condo, was planning to steal everything she had. And Lauren had no idea. I sat there for 20 minutes, hands gripping the wheel until my knuckles turned white. I couldn't just tell her. She'd confront Justin. He'd lie twisted around, speed up his plan. Get her to sign those papers before she knew what hit her. No, I needed proof. Witnesses. I needed to make sure when the truth came out, there'd be no room for lies. I pulled out my phone. There was one person who might help me. One person who loved Lauren as much as I did. Heather Campbell, Lauren's best friend since high school. I took a breath and dialed her number. This was just the beginning. I didn't go home. Instead, I called Heather Campbell, Lauren's best friend since high school. If anyone could help me, it was her. "Mr. Foster, is everything okay?" "No, I need to talk to you. About Lauren and Justin. Freedom Park, 20 minutes. Silence. "Then I'll be there." I pulled over at a gas station, splashed water on my face, and drove to the park. Sunday afternoon. Families walking, kids playing. My world had just shattered. Heather was waiting on a bench by the lake. She stood when she saw me, worry in her eyes. "What happened?" I pulled out my phone. "You need to see this." I handed it to her with the video cued. She hit play. I watched her face. The moment she recognized Melissa and Justin, her eyes went wide. The kiss. Her hand flew to her mouth. The audio played. Justin's voice. Everything's going according to plan. Melissa, when are you divorcing her? Justin, the condo, 285,000. Heather's face went white. When it ended, she looked up. Her hands shook. That bastard, she whispered. Does Lauren know? No, and I can't just tell her. What she needs to know. If I tell her now, she'll confront him. He'll deny it. She might believe him she loves him, and if she doesn't, he'll panic. Rush her to sign those papers. Heather stopped. You want more proof. I want to make sure when she finds out there's no doubt. What are you thinking? This was crazy. I was a bus driver, 30 years keeping my head down. Now I was plotting. But this was my daughter. What if someone tested him? I said. Someone he didn't know was working with us. Heather's eyes narrowed. You want me to talk to him? Murphy's Bar on Providence Road. Justin goes there after work. You could run into him. Get him talking. Record him. She was quiet. Ducks quacked behind us. I'll do it, she finally said. For Lauren. When? Tuesday night, around 8. We talked through it quickly. She'd accidentally bump into him, be friendly, get him comfortable, get him talking. I'd be outside watching, backing her up. As we stood to leave, Heather grabbed my arm. You're a good father. Lauren's lucky. I couldn't speak, just nodded. She drove away. I sat in my truck staring at the park. I'd just crossed the line, planned surveillance, deception. I wasn't just a bus driver anymore. For 30 years I'd kept to myself, never caused trouble, never got involved in drama. But not this time. My little girl was in danger. I thought about Lauren, teaching her to ride a bike, walking her to first grade, staying up when she had nightmares, being there when her grandmother died. I'd protected her my whole life. I wasn't going to stop now. That snake had married her for a condo, used her, played her like a fool, and he thought he'd get away with it. He thought I was just some quiet bus driver who'd never fight back. He was wrong. I pulled out the flash drive Mr. Lynch had given me, held it in my palm. This little piece of plastic held the truth. But it wasn't enough. Not yet. I needed more. I needed to show Lauren and everyone else that Justin was still lying, still scheming, that this wasn't some mistake or misunderstanding. This was who he was. Tuesday came faster than I expected. I'd never done anything like this before, surveillance, deception, manipulation. But my daughter's future was at stake. Tuesday evening came. I called in sick for my shift first time in 5 years. At 7:45, I sat in my pickup across from Murphy's Bar on Providence Road, phone in hand, watching Heather walk through the door. My hands were sweating. This was insane. A 58-year-old bus driver spying on his son-in-law. But here I was. Murphy's was a neighborhood spot. Dark wood, neon signs, classic rock. Working-class place where Justin would feel at home. I rolled down my window. Cold November air slipped in. I set my phone on the dash camera aimed at the bar window. Even grainy footage would be backup to whatever Heather recorded. Through the glass I saw her at the bar. Red dress, hair curled, sipping a drink, looking casual. 8 o'clock passed, then 8:15. I waited. At 8:20 he walked in, Justin Parker. My chest tightened. Same guy who'd married my daughter 3 days ago. He looked around, spotted a stool headed toward it. Heather turned, did a double take, smiled. Justin stopped, laughed, sat next to her. Perfect. I hit record. They talked. Justin ordered a beer, then another. His shoulders loosened. He leaned closer. His hand went to her shoulder. Too close for a married man. 20 minutes passed. Another round. Justin laughing, head thrown back. Heather touched his arm. Her phone sat on the bar screen away from him. Recording. My phone buzzed. Text from Heather. Got audio. He's disgusting. I kept recording. Zoomed in. Justin's hand stayed on her shoulder. His face near hers. They looked like a couple on a date. Not a married man and his wife's best friend. I took photos. Click, click. Justin's arm around her, both smiling, intimate angle. Evidence. Another text from Heather. He just said the condo's worth $285K. Once it's in his name, he's gone. She's just a means to an end. Got it all. I gripped my phone tighter. There it was. Same lie, same plan. 3 days married already, talking about divorce. Already planning the next move. He hadn't changed at all. Around 8:40, Heather stood, said something. Justin looked disappointed, tried to make her stay. She shook her head, smiled, touched his cheek, then walked out. Through the window, I watched Justin sitting there staring after her, grinning like an idiot. He had no idea what just happened. My phone buzzed. Heather, phase 1 complete. What's next? I sat there looking at the photos on my screen. Justin's arm around another woman. Justin's smiling, comfortable cot. I thought about Melissa, how she thought she had Justin to herself, how she'd helped him trick Lauren believing they'd run off together with the money. What if Melissa saw these photos? What if she knew Justin was already looking for someone else? She'd lose her mind. I typed back, "We make Melissa jealous." 3 dots. Then, oh, this is going to be good. I looked back at Murphy's one last time. Justin was still at the bar, probably ordering another drink, probably thinking about Heather, probably planning how he'd see her again. He thought he was so smooth, so clever. He thought no one was watching. But I was... And now I had him on camera, on audio, with witnesses. This wasn't just my word against his anymore. This was proof. Fresh proof. Proof that he was still lying. Still scheming just 3 days into his marriage. When Lauren saw this, when everyone saw this, there'd be no way for him to talk his way out. I pulled out of the parking lot. In my rearview mirror, Murphy's neon signs faded into the night. Phase 1 complete. We were just getting started. That night, Heather and I sat at my kitchen table, the video files on my laptop between us. I'd never used Instagram before, but desperate times call for learning new tricks. "We need a fake account," Heather said. "Something that looks real but can't be traced." It took me an hour. Username, password. Profile picture, I used a stock photo of a coffee cup. Generic. Untraceable. "Perfect," Heather said. "Now your coffee lover, 2019. My kitchen felt strange under the fluorescent light. Here I was, 58 years old, learning to catfish someone. But this was for my daughter. Now we upload the photo. Heather connected her phone to my laptop. The clearest shot from Murphy's Justin's arm around her, both smiling faces close. It looked exactly like what we needed. An affair. I uploaded it. 1 photo. No caption. Just that single damning image. "Now we find Melissa." Heather searched on her phone. "Here, Melissa Drake. Accounts public." I looked at her profile. Photos of parties, restaurants, beaches. In some, Justin lurked in the background out of focus, hiding. "She has no idea," I muttered. "She's about to." Heather looked at me. "You sure?" I thought about Lauren, about Justin's voice. She fell right into my hands. "I'm sure." Heather typed, "Thought you should know. Your man is cheating." Attached the photo. "Last chance to back out," she said. "Do it." She hit send. We stared at the screen. Message delivered. Nothing. "She might not see it right away," Heather said. "Could take..." Ding. "Message from Melissa Drake. Where is he?" All caps, frantic. Another message, then another. "Who are you?" "Tell me where he is right now." "Answer me." The messages kept coming. Angry. Desperate. Heather smiled. "She's losing it. Should we answer?" "No." Heather closed the laptop. "Let her spiral." We sat in silence. The refrigerator hummed. "What do you think she'll do?" I asked. "If I were her..." Heather leaned back. "I'd hunt him down. Confront him. Probably at his work. Climate Control Solutions. His shift ends at 7 tomorrow. You think she'll go there if she's angry enough? And from those messages?" I nodded at the laptop. "She's angry enough." "You want to be there. Record it. I want proof they're turning on each other." Heather was quiet, then nodded. "I'll come with you." "No, you've done enough. If Justin figures out you were involved..." I shook my head. "I need to do this alone." She squeezed my hand. "Lauren's lucky to have you." After she left, I sat alone in my kitchen, opened the laptop again. "Where is he?" "Who are you?" 14 messages now, each one more desperate than the last. I closed the laptop, stared at my hands. Working man's hands, rough, calloused, hands that had gripped a steering wheel for 30 years, hands that had never hurt anyone, but now these hands were setting traps, manipulating people, playing games. For Lauren, I told myself, all of this is for Lauren. I thought about tomorrow, Thursday evening. I'd park at Climate Control Solutions again. Wait, watch. If Melissa showed up and I was betting she'd confront Justin. They'd fight. They'd reveal themselves. And I'd have it all on camera. The perfect trap doesn't need bait when the prey baits itself. I picked up my phone, looked at my screensaver, a photo of Lauren from last Christmas, smiling happy before she met Justin. "I'm going to fix this, baby girl," I whispered. "I promise." I set an alarm for tomorrow, 6 p.m. Give myself time to get there, find a good spot set up. Then I turned off the lights and went to bed. But I didn't sleep. I lay there in the dark, thinking about Melissa, staring at that photo, about her rage building, about Justin clueless, probably already asleep. No idea that tomorrow his whole scheme would start crumbling. Somewhere in Charlotte, Melissa was staring at that photo, her world cracking. And Justin had no idea. Thursday evening, I finished my route early, At 6:45, I parked my truck 3 rows back from Climate Control Solutions on Industrial Drive. Justin's shift ended at 7. I rolled down my window and waited. Cold air slipped in. I could see the building's front entrance. Blue metal siding, company logo, a few cars in the lot. I set my phone on the dash camera ready. My heart pounded. If Melissa didn't show, I was here for nothing. But those messages last night, 14, all caps, furious, she was coming. 7:15. The door opened. Justin walked out. Work uniform, tool belt. He pulled out his keys, headed toward his truck. Normal evening, no idea what was coming. I hit record. Then tires squealing, an engine roaring. A silver sedan flew into the lot. Too fast. Screeched to a stop 10 feet from Justin. Melissa jumped out. Her face was twisted with rage. Justin? Justin spun. His face went white. Mel, what are you? Who is she? Melissa stormed toward him, phone shaking. Who the hell is she? What are you? This. She shoved the phone in his face. The photo. You and some woman at a bar, your arm around her. Justin's mouth opened, closed. That's nothing I can explain. Explain! Her voice got louder. Workers in the lot stopped, stared. We had a plan. We were supposed to get that condo, sell it, leave together, and you're already with someone else. Keep your voice down. Justin grabbed her arm. She ripped free. I don't care. Crack! The slap echoed across the lot. Justin's head snapped sideways. His hand flew to his cheek. Everyone was watching now. I betrayed my best friend for you, Melissa screamed. Her voice broke. I helped you trick Lauren, and this is what I get. Justin's face was red, his eyes wild. You're crazy. This is why I was looking for someone else. You're too clingy. Too what? Melissa shoved him, hard. Justin crashed into his truck. I gave up everything for you. We're not even together, Justin shouted. You're my side piece, Mel. You really thought I'd leave Lauren for you. She's got the condo. You've got nothing. I watched them destroy each other, and I couldn't help it. A cold smile crossed my face. They were tearing themselves apart. Perfect. Melissa went white, then red, then white again. We're done. She marched to her car, got in, peeled out. Tires smoking? Gone. Justin stood alone, hand on his cheek. Co-workers staring, some recording on their phones. Then he looked around, scanning, like he suddenly realized how public this was. His eyes swept across the lot and landed on mine. For 1 second, our eyes met through the windshield. I ducked, fast, heart hammering. Did he see me recognize the truck? I waited. 10 seconds, 20. Slowly, I raised my head. Justin's truck was pulling out, driving away fast. I sat up, stopped recording. My hands shook. I had it. All of it. The screaming. The slap. Melissa saying she'd betrayed Lauren. Justin saying Lauren was just the one with the condo. On camera. I looked at my phone. 3 minutes, 42 seconds. Gold. I put the truck in drive and pulled out, hands trembling, adrenaline pumping. Not just the wedding video. Not just the bar footage. Now I had them turning on each other, admitting everything, in public, with witnesses. When Lauren saw this, when everyone saw this, there'd be no doubt. No way for Justin to lie. No way for Melissa to deny. I drove home, the video on my phone. I had everything. The wedding footage showing their plan. The bar showing Justin still lying, still scheming. And now this them destroying each other. Tomorrow I'd call Mr. Lynch, book the restaurant for Saturday night, tell Lauren I was planning a surprise celebration, get everyone together, and show them the truth, all of it. Our eyes met for 1 second through the windshield. Then I ducked down, heart hammering. I drove home with the video on my phone. I had everything. Now came the hard part. Friday morning I called Mr. Lynch. I need the restaurant for tomorrow night, and I need your projector. There was a pause on the line. Mr. Foster, are you sure about this? I've never been more sure of anything in my life. He agreed. I could hear the weight in his voice. He knew what was coming. I spent the rest of Friday making calls. I told everyone the same story. Lauren and I wanted to throw a belated celebration, a surprise thank you dinner, for everyone who attended the wedding. Keep it quiet, I said. Don't tell Lauren. Let's surprise her. Heather was the only one who knew the truth. When I called her, she said, Tyler, are you ready for this? I am. Then let's end it. Saturday arrived. I woke up early, showered, and put on the same suit I wore to the wedding. Lauren had stayed over at Justin's place the night before. She still didn't know what I knew. She still thought she was married to a man who loved her. By 6 p.m. I was standing in the Garden Court restaurant watching Mr. Lynch set up the projector in the corner. A white screen stood against the far wall. 2 files sat loaded on the laptop, the original wedding footage and the new compilation. The bar, the parking lot, everything. It's ready, Mr. Lynch said quietly. He placed the remote in my hand. When you're ready, just press play. I nodded. My chest felt tight, but my hands were steady. The guests started arriving at 7. Gerald and Judith Parker walked in first, both smiling. Judith hugged me at the door. Tyler, this is so thoughtful of you. I forced a smile. Just wanted to say thank you. Heather arrived next, dressed in a simple black dress. She caught my eye across the room and gave me a small nod. Samantha and Mrs. Miller followed, laughing about something from work. Scott, one of Justin's buddies from Climate Control Solutions, clapped me on the shoulder. You're a good man, Tyler. Lauren's lucky to have you as her dad. I didn't respond. At 7:15, Lauren walked in with Justin. She looked radiant in a soft blue dress, her face bright with surprise. Dad, what is all this? Just a little something to celebrate, I said, hugging her. Over her shoulder, I saw Justin. There was a faint bruise along his jaw, barely visible under the restaurant's dim lighting. He avoided my gaze. Melissa Drake arrived last, slipping in through the side door. She wore a tight red dress, her face carefully made up, but I could see the tension in her shoulders. She didn't look at Justin. She didn't look at anyone. The room filled with chatter. Plates were passed. Wine was poured. Lauren sat at the center table, smiling and laughing with Heather and Samantha. She had no idea. At 7:45, I stood up. The room quieted. Every face turned toward me. Lauren smiled, thinking I was about to make a toast. I took a breath. My voice came out steady, calm. I'm just a bus driver, I began, but I will not let anyone hurt my daughter. The lights dimmed. The projector hummed to life. On the screen behind me, the Garden Court Restaurant, storage room. 9:43 p.m., Saturday 1 week ago. I stayed standing. I didn't look at Lauren. I couldn't. On the screen, Justin and Melissa appeared in the storage room. The door closed behind them. They kissed. A collective gasp swept through the room. Dad, what is this? Lauren stood up, her voice shaking. I kept my voice steady. Just watch, sweetheart. The footage continued. Justin and Melissa sat on the old couch in the corner, talking, smoking. Then the audio kicked in. Melissa's voice sharp and clear. How long do we have to play this comedy? When will you divorce her? Lauren's hand flew to her mouth. Justin's voice casual, confident. First she has to sign the deed over to me. Then we wait. The condo will be mine. $285,000, no mortgage. Someone at the back of the room swore under their breath. Justin laughing. She thinks it's love. She fell right into my hands. Lauren's glass slipped from her fingers and hit the table. It shattered. Shards of glass scattered across the white tablecloth. Red wine bled into the fabric. Lauren, Justin jumped to his feet. This isn't... Sit! Down! Boy! Gerald Parker's voice cut through the room like a knife. He was standing now, his face red, his fists clenched at his sides. Justin froze. Judith Parker was crying, her hands covering her face. Heather moved to Lauren's side, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. Lauren just stared at the screen, her face pale, her lips trembling. The room was silent except for the audio from the video. On the screen, Melissa leaned into Justin. I honestly thought you actually fell for her at first. Justin on the screen smirked. Cut it out. You know I only love you. Lauren is just a way to solve our housing problem. Mrs. Miller, sitting near the front, shook her head slowly. Samantha had her phone out recording. Scott, Justin's buddy, stood up and walked toward the door without a word. On the screen, Melissa kissed Justin one last time. Love you. Love you too. The video ended. The screen went black. Silence. Absolute silence. 5 full seconds. Then Justin stood up, his voice cracking. This is edited. You don't understand the context? I looked at him and nodded at Mr. Lynch again. I looked at Justin, then at Melissa. Some of you may think maybe they made a mistake. I looked around the room. So this week we tested them. A second video appeared on the screen. Murphy's Bar, Tuesday night. On the screen, Justin with another woman, Heather Campbell. They sat close at the bar laughing. His arm was around her shoulder. The audio kicked in. Justin's voice loud and clear. That condo is worth $285,000. Once it's mine, I'm gone. She's just a means to an end. Melissa shot to her feet, her face bright red. What, you went out with another woman? Justin whipped around. It was a setup, can't you see? I kept my voice calm. Yes, it was a setup. To prove you are exactly who I thought you were. The screen changed. Thursday night. Climate Control Solutions parking lot. Melissa's scream echoed through the restaurant speakers. We were supposed to get that condo. I betrayed my best friend for you. The sound of the slap rang out sharp and loud. Melissa turned to Lauren, her voice desperate. Lauren, I can explain. Heather stepped between them. Don't. You heard what you said. You betrayed her. Justin pointed at Melissa. This was her idea. She came up with the plan. Melissa exploded. You came up with it. You said we could sell the condo and live off the money. I just loved you. They were screaming at each other now, right there in front of everyone. The room watched in stunned silence as they tore each other apart. Gerald Parker moved. He walked slowly to his son, his face red, his eyes glassy with tears. He stood in front of Justin and stared at him for a long moment. You are not my son, he said quietly. Then he slapped him. The sound cracked through the room like a gunshot. Justin staggered back, his hand flying to his cheek. Gerald turned away, his shoulders shaking. Judith was sobbing. She pulled Lauren into her arms. We're so sorry, sweetheart. We had no idea he could do something like this. Around the room, phones were out. People were recording. Mrs. Miller was shaking her head, tears streaming down her face. Samantha had her arm around Heather, who stood with her jaw clenched, staring at Justin with pure hatred. Melissa tried to leave, but Scott stepped into her path. You should stay and face what you did. She shoved past him and ran for the door. The room stayed silent, watching her go. Justin stood there, his hands still on his face, looking around the room like a trapped animal. No one met his eyes. I walked over to Lauren. I put my arm around her shoulders. She was shaking, but she wasn't crying. She was staring at Justin with something I'd never seen in her before. Cold clarity. She reached down, pulled off her wedding ring, and placed it on the table in front of Justin. Then she turned and walked out. She didn't look at Justin. Didn't say a word. She just walked, and I walked with her. Outside, the cold night air hit us. Lauren stopped on the sidewalk, wrapping her arms around herself. She was shaking, but not from the cold. Dad, Her voice cracked. I pulled her into my arms. You don't have to say anything, sweetheart. Behind us, the restaurant door opened. Heather came out first, followed by Mrs. Miller. Then Gerald and Judith. They stood in a quiet circle around us. Mrs. Miller touched Lauren's shoulder. You're strong, Lauren. You're going to get through this. Heather hugged her tight. I'm always here. Gerald stepped forward, his face still red from crying. Lauren, honey, we are so sorry. We had no idea what kind of person he'd become. We're done with him. Completely done. Judith nodded, tears streaming down her face. You'll always be family to us. Always. Lauren nodded, unable to speak. Inside, through the window, I saw Justin trying to leave. No one looked at him. No one spoke. He walked past the tables alone, his head down, and disappeared through the back door. Melissa had already left. She'd tried to explain herself to Samantha, but Samantha turned her back. No one wanted to hear it. Mr. Lynch came outside, wiping his hands on a towel. He looked at me and nodded. Mr. Foster, you did the right thing. I didn't know what to say. I hope so. You did, he said firmly. That girl deserves better, and now she knows it. Monday morning, Lauren filed for divorce. Justin didn't fight it. He knew he'd lost. The condo stayed hers. It had been in her name before the marriage. A gift from her grandmother. No mortgage, no dispute. The lawyer confirmed it in less than a week. Justin moved out of Charlotte the following Tuesday. I heard from Scott that he'd taken a job in Raleigh 2 hours away. He left without saying goodbye to anyone. Melissa left too. She tried to stay, tried to keep her job, but the community turned its back on her. The video had spread. Everyone knew what she'd done. By the end of the month, she was gone. 2 months later, on a cold December morning, Lauren and I sat in a small coffee shop on East Boulevard. She looked different, lighter. Her hair was pulled back and she wore a soft gray sweater. She was smiling at something on her phone, a text from Heather. I'm okay, Dad, she said, looking up at me. It still hurts sometimes, but I'm okay. I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. I'm proud of you. You're stronger than you think. Thanks for fighting for me. Her voice was quiet. I don't know if I could have done it alone. You could have, I said, but you didn't have to. She smiled. We sat in comfortable silence for a moment, watching the morning light filter through the window. I'm going back to work full-time next week, she said. And Heather and I are planning a girls' trip to the mountains in January, just to get away for a while. That sounds perfect. She looked at me, her eyes clear and calm. You know, Dad, you're not just a bus driver, you're my hero. I didn't know what to say to that. For 30 years I'd kept my head down. I'd driven my roots, avoided trouble, gone home. I was just a regular guy. But that day I'd learned something. When the people you love are in danger, you can't stay silent. You have to stand up. You have to fight, even if you're scared, even if you don't know what you're doing, because that's what love does. It makes ordinary people do extraordinary things. I'm just a bus driver. For 30 years, I kept my head down, avoided trouble, did my job. But that day, I learned something. When the people you love are in danger, you can't stay silent. You have to stand up. You have to fight, even if you're scared, even if you don't know what you're doing, because that's what love does. It makes ordinary people do extraordinary things. Looking back at everything that happened, I realize God puts tests in our path for a reason. When Mr. Lynch called me that Sunday morning, I could have ignored it. I could have told Lauren and let her handle it alone. But God gave me the strength to act to protect my daughter the way a father should. Here's my advice. Don't be like I was for 30 years silent, avoiding conflict, hoping problems would solve themselves. When you see injustice, when someone you love is being hurt, speak up. God doesn't give us these moments by accident. He's watching to see if we'll stand up for what's right. The lesson I learned: love requires action. Faith without works is dead, as the Bible says. You can pray for protection, but sometimes God answers by giving you the courage to be the protector. That's what happened to me. That's what this grandpa story's taught me. This isn't just my true story. It's a reminder that ordinary people can do extraordinary things when guided by faith. God was with me every step from that first phone call to the moment Lauren walked out with her head held high. He'll be with you too if you let him. So here's what I want to know. Have you ever had to stand up for someone you love? What would you do in my situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this grandpa stories and true story resonated with you, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Your support means everything, and together we can remind each other that doing the right thing is always worth it. God bless you all.